If you were dating someone and if they said they don't want to have sex with you until they are married to you, how would you react? I would inquire about the reasoning, then act from there. I respect the choice, but I need to know the logic behind it if I'm going to commit to someone. I wouldn't mind waiting as long as they needed, but I probably wouldn't get married to someone unless I knew we were also sexually compatible. I'd stop dating her. 1. If she stays true to it, then it's way too much of a risk for me. Lifelong sexual incompatibility sounds like a nightmare. 2. She seems to have some ideas surrounding sex that I very much disagree with, which is a sign for incompatibility as well. 3. If it was just a test, then I dodged a bullet. I'm not interested in someone who does bullshit like tests. My current boyfriend was like this. He wanted to wait until marriage. If it were anyone else, I would have dipped TF out. But for some reason, with him, I told him I'm willing to wait. Then a month passed into our relationship and he asked if we could have sex because he kept getting too turned on when we would do other stuff. Face with tears of joy. Now 2 years later, we have a healthy sex life and overall relationship. LOL. That's gonna be a no from me, dog. Joking aside, whatever a person's wishes to have about sex is cool. Just ain't gonna work for me. And that's cool too. Been there. Done that. Didn't have sex before marriage for religious reasons. Found out after marriage we're on opposite sides of the sexual spectrum. Difficult to get through, and even today 10+ years later it's still a struggle at times. Would 10/10 recommend you have sex before you commit to marriage to check your compatibility? I mean, that's a totally valid thing to want. You get to choose how much sex you have and when you're ready for it. With that said, sex is an important part of any romantic relationship for me. Sexual compatibility is a fundamental part of how well I click with someone. Waiting until marriage essentially means waiting until we're married to see if we work as a couple. No thanks. I have a mutual crush on a Christian guy that's waiting for marriage. I'm fine with it. I knew from the beginning and I like him for his personality. I don't know if we get married years down the line. But right now I'm content with just hanging out and cuddling. It's kinda nice to know I'm not being used. Been there, done that. We waited and have been together 20 years. We have great sex and we have it often. We've experimented more than the second sentence would suggest and are secure in knowing neither one of us would ever cheat and have excellent self-control. Admittedly, it took a while to get good at it, but we're happy and satisfied. I'd probably say, well, I won't want to consider marriage until we've had sex several times at least. I need to know if I'm compatible with someone before considering marriage. I once dated a guy that said this. He came from a Christian family and I was young. I respected it. Turned out he was gay. He was saying that to buy himself time basically. End the relationship. It takes a long time to decide if you want to marry someone, and how sexually compatible we are is part of that decision process. Years of no sex with my partner is an absolute deal breaker. I respect their decision, but it's not the relationship for me. I'd be chill with it. It's honestly what I'm considering at this point. I feel like when I have sex with someone they end up leaving or ghosting or whatever. No judgment against people who sleep around, but I don't personally feel comfortable body hopping. I think I'd be pretty relieved to hear a partner say that LOL, like thank God they aren't here to use my damn body. I think I'd be happy. Because I've had such shit partners in the past who treated me like a sex doll that I'd be so happy someone wanted to be with me without it just being about sex. I would break up with them. I don't want to marry someone without knowing if we're sexually compatible. Sorry, but this isn't going to work out. First, because I don't want to marry, and second, because I think sex is an important thing in a relationship. Ask where she is coming from and what led her to that decision. Then explain why it's important to you and if you can find a compromise. All these people on here rushing to the just break up decision obviously don't care about other people's thoughts or histories enough to try to understand their perspective, nor do they have the decency to communicate. If you care about her, at least give her the respect of trying to understand her mindset. Good for them for sticking to their values, but I want no part in it. Sex is an important piece of a healthy relationship, for me. Plus I'm not sure I want to ever get married in the first place. There's no reason to arbitrarily withhold parts of your relationship until after you make a big show of it and sign some papers. Two people can love each other and be committed and faithful without all the hubbub. Depends on how deep into the relationship we are. I'll agree to a lot if there is enough love, and it's probably gonna happen anyways, eventually. I don't think I'd mind it. Yes, sex is an important part in the relationship, but it's not detrimental. I've gone years without sex, so this wouldn't be any different. I respected her opinion. So we dated and made out, and when she would tell me that we had met her limit, I believed her and respected her decision. We married in 2017 after 2 years of being together. Respect their vulnerability with that and their desire to do something so difficult in a society where they know they are gonna get pushback. That's a person of integrity. Not sure I could carry on tbh. Sex is a big part of how I connect more deeply and emotionally to my so that doesn't work for me. Gotta find someone else. Saving yourself for marriage is a recipe for disaster. Sexual compatibility is a real thing, and it's too important to leave to chance. The last thing anyone wants is to get married, and then discover that you're not compatible with your partner. Pure relief for me. Not having to worry about whether to please someone I care about or uphold the values under which I was raised sounds blissful. I imagine I'm in the minority there, though. Especially on Reddit, lol. Who the heck would I be to say otherwise? That's me though. If they're worth it, and I see marriage potential, it would be worth the wait. I would break up. We have to be compatible in sex, and I can't wait till marriage to find out we aren't. My feelings on this have changed as I've matured. I'm still young, and I used to think that I couldn't do this. But recently I've started to warm to the idea as a whole. In short, it's something I would be willing to do, or at least try it, for the right person. I respect your decision, but I am not at that point in my life. To me, intimacy is an important part of what I'm looking for in a relationship. Unfortunately, that makes us incompatible. I wish you the best. That'd be the end of that. Incompatible belief systems. Wish her well, maybe be friends, but nope. Can't make a lifelong commitment and then find a deal-breaker sexual mismatch. What if they said they wouldn't tell you if they want kids, what their religious beliefs are, what they value, what kind of lifestyle they want, whether or not they find you attractive, until after you get married? All of these would be a deal-breaker for most people. Sex is no different. For most people, sex, specifically intimacy, is as important as any of the other things I listed above. I live in Afghanistan, and this is completely normal in our world, in fact in all Muslim nations. And I think it is great.